Good morning. So today we're going to do a test of this brewing table that I have designed. We are also going to have a brief lesson in how to brew an all-grain beer. I have my yeast is going in the kitchen. I have 6 pounds of grain already in the hopper that I'm going to grind, and I have on the scale over here another 3 pounds plus a few ounces. So here we go. We're just going to start cranking. Okay, so first off, some stabilization. This is not entirely stable, but it is, however, I think going to work pretty well for today. And since there's no real need for you to sit here and watch me grind 9 pounds of grain, I'm going to go ahead and pause. Okay, so grains have been ground. I'll give you a look inside here. There you go. You can see the grains that have been ground. Just going to set them here for a moment. And then we're going to do a few things here. Put a few things away now that we don't need them anymore. And then we have to hook up our hoses, which, give me a moment. Okay, so we have our grains are ground, we have our water in the pot. I did have to do a little bit of modification to the hose because I wasn't getting good pull through. I did sanitize the pots, and now I am waiting for the water to come up to temp. You can see on the thermometer there that we are somewhere between 60 and 70. So we're still waiting. We need to get this up to, I'm going to go for 160. So I will come back when we're at the right temp. Okay, as you may not be able to see from the badly out of focus thermometer there, we are right at 160. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the grains in. Okay, so I realized that I had forgotten my spoon, so I just had to go in and sanitize my spoon really quickly. Ooh, this is very dark. So for those of you wondering what I'm making, I'll be honest, I have no idea. This is all of the tag ends of grain bags that I've used over the last year or so. So I know there's some crystal malt, I know there's some oats, there's some wheat, there's some pale malt, there's some carapils. There are multiple Lovabond ratings of crystal malt. So this is actually very, very dark. So we're going to let this mash. I'm going to put the lid on so that the temperature will stay constant. And we're at about 150. So I'm going to drop that spoon there, and I'm going to just turn the heat back on for a brief little bit. Okay, so as you can see looking over here, we got a little too hot. That happens. The drawback to that is that the grains are no longer, the proteins in the grains are no longer giving off sugars. They're no longer breaking down the carbohydrates into simple sugars. So we've lost some of our sugar, which means we won't have as much alcohol as we intended. However, since I didn't even know exactly how much grain was in here, I mean 9 pounds and a few ounces, and I don't know exactly what kinds of grains, it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the stuff moving over into the boil pot. So give me a minute here. Yeah, take a note, that needs to be fixed. Okay, open the valve. Oh yeah, we've got big, wow, big black beer here. Smells like coffee. My goodness, does it smell like coffee. It smells awesome. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera off while I finish this. Okay, so we've swapped sides of the garage to better facilitate videoing. I'm going to put my outlet hose back here into my carboy. And now we are just waiting. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to fly up over the top. That's our wort. This is a 15-gallon pot, so we've probably got about 9 to 10 gallons in there, which makes sense because I started with 7.5 gallons in the pot, and then I rinsed the grains with another 2 gallons. So probably 9 to 9.5 gallons, because this actually does get out most of the water. So we'll go ahead and just wait now for the water to come up to a boil and get it going, and then I will return and we'll go over some more stuff. So far, just to throw it out there, everything seems to be working. The large bit up on top, the hose that I'm about to focus on, is having a lot of trouble getting all of the wort through that hose. So what I need to do is figure out some way to, perhaps instead of going up and over, go valve to valve on the pots. Not sure yet how I'm going to do that, but that's the next thing to look at, just to make my my life easier. And we'll be back. So, I'm often asked, what's a good boil? Because people say, hey, you know, you should boil your wort, right? And the question is, really, how much of a boil do you need? And I'm going to show you. So here we are. That is pretty well good enough. An hour of that, and there's nothing going to be living in the beer. So that's what we're going to keep it at. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in my first batch of hops. Just went in that little bag. And we will see how that does here, and we will come back when it's time to add the next set of hops. Okay, so we've got about 15 minutes left in our boil. I'm going to add the last hop, which is going to add a nice floral aroma. And then I've got Irish moss, which it calls for 1 teaspoon during the last 15 minutes of the boil. Helps the beer to flocculate, or to settle, as it were. So I just added some of that, and now we're going to wait another 15 minutes. Okay, so our time is up, and we are now going to start the beer moving over into the carboy through the chiller. I've got a sanitized carboy hanging out down here underneath the chiller, ready to go. So I'm going to open the valve here, and it's going to flood the, wow, it's going to go all the way through. Very nice. And I'm going to turn on the pump. Maybe. There we go. Power had just come a little bit unplugged. So we should have nice cold beer going in here. Yes, we do. I'm going to stand that carboy up. It was kind of trying to fall over. All right. And now we will go ahead and get this in here, and I will come back to you when we're done. Okay, so my least favorite part of brewing is done. I have cleaned up for the most part. And we're going to take a look here, see if we can't focus in on this a little bit better. So spin that, get rid of any foam, and hope that it lands the right way, which it did, I do believe. So looks like we're going to be about 1.054. Let me get my face right up in there. Yeah, we're going to be about 1.054, which means, oh, we could get, oh, maybe 6%. So we'll see what we get. I've already pitched yeast. We're going to use a London ale yeast, just because I've never tried it before, wanted to see what it would do. So I'm going to finish cleaning up. I've got a few things to get off the table where I spilled some work onto the table. And then I'm going to, I think, be done for the evening. And I'll see what I can't compile out of these little short videos that I've recorded, and we'll post them on Facebook and see what questions come of it, or see what I learn of it. All right, thanks y'all, and have a great day.